Hello, everybody. I am Fabian with crystalsavatar.com. And today we're going to be talking about crystal skulls, which have quickly become quite popular in modern times, even something legendary in the crystals world. And many myths and practices have surrounded crystal skulls over time. And we'll be discussing what some of those are in today's video. But let us begin by explaining what is a crystal skull. Maybe it's a little bit obvious for some, but let me show you where they come from. This is a perfect example of what raw crystal looks like before it is cut and polished into a shape, such as a crystal skull. So, now, raw crystals like this one and gemstones are grown in the Earth's crust. This forms and takes a few 100 million years, up to a couple billion. As a matter of fact, the oldest or most ancient crystal ever found is called zircon. And guess, listen to this, 4.4 billion years old. Okay, that's almost as old as the planet itself. Okay, this is what we're dealing with when we're talking about crystals and crystal skulls. These are ancient. This one is Auralite 23. This is a raw form. This is what it will look like when it's cut and polished. This is Auralite skull. Now, this is my favorite. This is a very powerful stone, but everyone is connected to their own type of crystal, and they all have their own different properties. Now, the crystals are excavated as far down as 25 miles beneath Earth's surface, and a few other types, such as peridot or diamonds, even they're found even farther, up to 125 miles in the Earth's mantle. Okay, that's crazy, and just to be working with something so ancient and full of energies is unbelievable. Crystals are magical. Now, after the raw crystals come out of the earth, they're given to a lapidary, also called a gem cutter. And they're the ones that, they're like an artist or artisan that cuts the crystal shapes through a series of cutting, sanding, lapping, grinding, tumbling, polishing, drilling. Finally, you'll get carved out of the crystal skull from the raw stone. Now, one of the first things we must do is establish a distinction between modern skulls and those that are old and others that are considered ancient. So, in this first group are the new skulls or contemporary skulls that have been carved in the past, all the way up to 100 years or so. Now, this is mostly the type of crystal skulls that you're going to find for sale online that range anywhere between $20 on up to a couple $1,000s. It really, honestly, these are like gemstones. It all depends on the size and the type of stone that it's made out of, because they all have different values, and also the actual detail and craftsmanship of the skull shape. So now in the next group are what you call old skulls. Now these are the basically relics that are being found in ancient excavations in Mexico and Central America. Okay, these skulls are much more valuable. They're on another level, and they range in ages from the 100 years on up to a couple thousand years. All right, and they're not just valuable and expensive because of their age, but also because they are ancient relics being excavated, and mostly in the Mesoamerica area. That's where most of them are coming from, and a few other places as well. The old or ancient original crystal skulls, they have removable jaws. The jaw will actually come off, and so if any of these old skulls that we're mentioning right now, if they don't have this removable jaw, then it's just a copy. It is a copy of the original ancient skulls. And these skull copies, it's better to call them seed crystals or seed skulls. What is a seed crystal? It's basically a copy. You're seeding. It's like taking a younger crystal, putting it next to a master teacher crystal, and it's seeding it. It's copying. It's being near the energies, taking in the information, and then that seed crystal or seed skull is passed on into the world. And just think about it. A psychic will come along and work with a seed crystal, not knowing so, and see, oh wow, this is from Atlantis. They can see and feel that it originates there, but it's just a copy of the original because it does not have a removable jaw. It's just a seed crystal or seed skull. So now finally, the third group, all right, are the ones that are considered ancient crystal skulls. Okay, and if they originate from Atlantis, so how old are they, really? I mean, what is Atlantis? And even the age before that, Lemuria. These are different ages, epochs. We're talking about basically another dimension, another like another world in time. This is planetary timescales in millions of years, not thousands, you guys. Atlantis originates back to around 10 million years ago. Lemuria, the age before that, about 18 million years ago. Now these ancient original 13 crystal skulls, these skulls have been claimed to have like supernatural powers and having some connection to our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters and also are said to have downloaded information inside of the skulls by the ETs. and so they are actually, it's impossible to really check how old a carving is because of carbon dating does not work with stones and crystals, unlike wood or other organic substances. So there's no scientific way to actually tell exactly how old a carving is. However, but of course, energetically, different psychics have worked with the skulls and they've read the energies and information inside of them, and they tell us that some of these skulls originate from the Atlantean period. And actually, on top of that, the Mayan elders are teaching that the Atlantis survivors came to the Mayan lands, and they colonized a few other places as well, such as Tibet, Egypt, Persia. So my belief is that they have just been shared or passed on to these other cultures. And either way, most of them are coming out of the Mayans. So now, most of these skulls are owned by different people, different owners, such as museums, a couple of museums, private collectors. There's some public collections. Some are actually being defended or guarded by descendants of indigenous people. And these different owners, okay, they have claimed or reported like strange, mysterious, paranormal things happening around their skulls, such as some claiming to receiving a miraculous healing just by having the skulls in their presence. And others have seen like holographic images appearing inside of their skulls. And others, like psychics, are channeling and receiving impressions from them. And not to mention, a powerful energy has been measured within and around the skulls when they've been activated. I mean, these, the ancient skulls, these are the famous skulls in the world that have been found with removable jaws that are legendary. Just a handful of ancient relics that have fueled an intense interest and controversy amongst like archaeologists, scientists, spiritualists, and museum officials for like over 100 years. Now, let me get a drink here. I need to hydrate myself. Now, there is the legend, the ancient legend of the 13 crystal skulls. Now, many native tribes in the Americas, they believe that there were or are 13 original ancient crystal skulls, like the same size, life size of human heads, with movable jaws that are said to speak or sing. And that's why they're also called singing skulls or speaking skulls. And kind of like we mentioned before, they do have removable jaws and they're movable. So movable and removable jaws, okay? Now, we said 13, but what you must realize is the actual important number here is 12. What is being visually indicated is that the 13th skull represents all 12 like coming together into one. Symbolic. Okay, so 12 is the sacred number that represents the 12 sacred planets. Okay, and like we mentioned before, the main group of survivors, the Mayans kept these 12 different skulls inside of a pyramid in a circular formation of tremendous power called the Ark. Now, the Ark comprised of these 12 crystal skulls, and each one comes from a different planet, one of these 12 different sacred planets. And they were kept in a circle, and the 13th skull, the largest one, was placed in the middle of the formation, which was symbolic. And that explains why the number 13 is used. Now, 12 spheres, 12 planets, extra trust, like star nations, are also represented in the Kabbalah, Tree of Life. But that is an occult or esoteric secret. You're not actually meant to know that arcane truth, are you? Because most of you are only made aware of 10 spheres or planets in the Kabbalah Tree of Life. However, the truth is there's actually 12 planets, extraterrestrial planets represented in the Kabbalah. And it's actually more accurate to call them stargates to these planets. Such as, how about a stargate going to a Vega in Lyra, or a stargate going to a Sirius B, or how about one in the Pleiades, what is that, Alcyon, or what about a stargate going to Meroc in Andromeda, or one to Arcturus or Avion, etc. And there's a crystal skull originating from each of these sacred planets. Now, you must have heard of some of these ET names or planet names. I mean, this is our genetic and spiritual heritage. We are intimately connected to these space star nations, star people. Okay? 12 different extraterrestrial races make up what is the original angelic human race. This is where we come from. We used to have 12 strands of DNA. There's that number again, 12, not 13. This is what the skulls represents, and that's what this is all about. And this historic information is downloaded and saved by the ETs inside the skulls themselves in the form of holographic data. And currently this data is only, accessible energetically by, for example, healers, or if you're psychic, basically a priest or a shaman. And the skulls themselves, these ancient skulls, they're being kept safe and hidden by the Mayans and other indigenous people. Now, there's only one authentic, crystal skull that is known to the public that has a removable jaw, and that is the Mitchell-Hedges crystal skull. Now, this is an unbelievable skull, and this has been checked by scientists. Let me correct that. It's been checked by some of the greatest crystal experts on the planet at Hewlett-Packard. Okay, they could come to no real good conclusion. They could definitely say that there is no modern tool marks on the skull. So their idea is that it was made by hand for 300 years. Okay, you can come up with your own conclusion. You can read about information about the Mitchell-Hedges crystal skull. I'm just here to tell you, to add on to the story, that there is only 13 original crystal skulls. Okay, and if they don't have this removable jaw, then it's just a copy, like we mentioned before, a seed crystal or seed skull. And trust me, there's many old skulls coming out and being claimed to be one of these original ones. But like we've talked about in this video, a lot of these old skulls are just copies. But that doesn't make them insignificant. It doesn't make them less important There was a reason why you're seeding these crystal skulls. There's a reason why you kept the main ones alone and hidden and send out a whole bunch of copies into the world, ones that are being buried and found and discovered. Just keep things in perspective and understand what you really have there. And recognize and revere this Mitchell Hedges crystal skull. So, now these crystal skulls contain within this holographic information about the origins and the purpose and the destiny of mankind. And not to mention, they answer some of the greatest mysteries of life in the universe. Now, this information is not only important to Mother Earth. Hello, this is actually an important thing we're supposed to be doing here. But it's also vital to the very survival of the human race. Now, this legend of the 13 crystal skulls, it's been handed down by generations of Native Americans. So you want to talk about crystal skulls being fake. Now, let me make a correction here. What is fake? What is fake? What are you saying is fake? What they're really saying is that people are lying about how old their old skull is. But lying about how old a skull is, excuse me, does not dismiss the power of the skull. It is still quartz. Nothing changed because you lied that it was not really ancient. It's still, do you understand what we're saying? This crystal skull is still a magical tool. It's still full of psychic energies. You're not going to dismiss that. You can say fake skulls, but they're still a powerful, ancient, magical tool. Okay? We're going to protect spirit. We're going to recognize, we're going to revere spirit in this video. Scientists don't see spirit. They don't recognize spirit. So for them, this is all nonsense. They don't know what is divination. They don't know what is connecting to extraterrestrials and things and mysteries that they do not connect to or believe in. So you make your own choice. You connect to the skull or not connect to the skull. And recognize it as not being fake, but as being a real, there's testimonies all over the world about the skulls and the powers of these skulls. And what are you going to say about this? I'm sorry I'm so emotional, but there are some things that must be corrected. So, now, we said that these skulls contain within them this information. And it's been handed down by these Native Americans. If you don't want to believe in Atlantis and you think it's a fairy tale or a Lemuria, then at least listen to your backyard, the Native Americans talking about it, not just one, or there's several different types. We're not just talking about the Mayans and the Aztecs from Central America, but the skulls go on to the Pueblo and Navajo Indians. They're talking about them from what is now southwestern United States. Don't forget about the Hopi and the Zuni and the things they say, and the Cherokee and the Seneca Indians in the northeast USA. Okay, and for example, the Cherokee variation of this legend says that there's 12 planets in the cosmos inhabited by human beings, and that there's a skull that comes from each of these 12 sacred planets. And that's what we're saying here, you guys. These crystal skulls contain within them the knowledge to assist our race and finally our planet to live in an age of peace. So, another hydration there. These crystal skulls, what I've been trying to tell you, which aren't going to be dismissed, have these magical properties or powers inside of them. They can help induce visions or premonitions or healing abilities. You cannot ignore the healing abilities. And also, it increases psychic abilities. When you sit and work with a crystal, man, it's going to affect your energies. Understand, it's radiating out energies. It's here in your energy, which extends out to a certain distance. And understand. So, the ancients, they used these skulls for predicting the future, for controlling the weather, And I know for some of you stuck in the logic mind, not connected to the spirit side, that's impossible. You don't understand this. How do these medicine men change the weather and stuff? You know, they use the crystal skulls for healing and as oracles for receiving cosmic wisdom, and as receivers of universal knowledge, and as tools for the future to assist to connecting to the divine. I mean, you're not going to watch many crystal skull videos talking about all these properties. And because of the properties, the natural properties of quartz crystal, you know, that same quartz crystal that you're putting in your radios and computers and all your other communication devices, communication tools, they're also... I'm sorry, I'm being so... This is something that is strongly not being realized and recognized, and that's why there is people coming forward with this lost knowledge and information. The skulls are some sort of ancient radio or television or computer device, a device for communicating, though, between the worlds, a sort of doorway into other dimensions, a way to communicate with the world of the spirits and the ancestors. I mean, you can learn how to use the crystal skulls if you're interested, how to communicate with departed loved ones, or wise elders, as well as extraterrestrials, and the star nations. So, now, they were treated as sacred objects. They were worshipped as these ancient relics by, especially the Mayans and the Incas who would dance and erect altars on which to place the skulls on. And according to legend, they were used by the high priest of the Mayans when performing esoteric rites. And they were great believers in using the skulls for clairvoyance and divination. And they were avid watchers of the skies and movements of the heavenly bodies, and they placed a great emphasis on their own powers of prophecy and prediction. Now, it is becoming increasingly clear that the incredible claims of the crystal skulls, paranormal powers that I'm trying to exclamation point here, that they have continued unabated, non-stop, relentless ever since its original discovery. And indeed, since the crystal skulls have been recovered from deep in the jungles of the Amazon, it has been widely recognized that there is, something incredibly strange, extraordinary, and powerful about these crystal skulls, which you are not going to dismiss and say is fake. So, the crystal skulls have been used in different types of special ceremonies and rituals, and because of their ability to enhance and amplify the power of intention. And when you work with crystal skulls, you activate, its potential and therefore increase the power of its natural qualities and characteristics. Only through focused attention can we activate a skull, and when we work with it, it's like staring into a mirror. It gives us our most perfect reflection of ourselves, and it amplifies this energy state. Now, another important thing is that the crystal skulls connect to the Akashic records, which is a vast plane of I'm looking at all my different skulls. I'm just feeling something's here communicating. There's a vast plane of the Akashic records is like potentialities, possibilities. They also function sort of like a giant computer memory chip or phone app. I mean, they're considered a repository of knowledge with information on a grand scale. And rather than save precious information for mankind in an ordinary quartz crystal, the ancients chose to, save their wisdom in a receptacle shaped like a human head. Now, the skulls have been used in many types of rituals and ceremonies, and have been handed down for generations and generations. And in the same way that the human skull protects and holds the brain, a crystal skull is a mind-like container that holds a generational library of knowledge from ancient history to future possibilities, of what can happen, be possible, potentialities. And if humans would start using quartz crystal as computer memory storage, unlike SSD, solid state drives, then knowledge that could last forever is possible. Digital storage is very easy and practical, right? But it has the downside of being prone to data loss and like hard drive failure. Within 4 years of use, about 11% of hard drives are going to fail. And SSD drives maybe a few more years longer, but even them, they in the numerous amounts of read and write cycles, they too will inevitably fail. I mean, we're always going to end up having to replace our aging hard drives. But with crystal quartz memory, we would have lifetime unlimited computer storage. And not to mention that the crystal skulls would have like a memory capacity of several hundreds of terabytes, or actually petabytes, which is the next level of memory storage. Now, I just want to end the video and just by showing you these different skulls, and just understand that you connect to a skull. Maybe rose quartz, maybe agate, maybe obsidian, or this is aventurine, or lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli is cherished by the Egyptians. We have smoky quartz. And we also have different shapes of skulls, just creative shapes. There's one like an alien head. I have alien head skulls. This one's not here in my group here. I couldn't fit so many skulls. But as you can see, there's tiny little skulls. You can connect to these. You can use them in the same ways. This not just the stone, but it's the shape that is important with the working with crystal skulls. And there's a history behind this, and there's information about this. I mean, this is just an amazing psychic, spiritual tool. And regardless if you have an ancient one, an old one, or a contemporary one, you're going to have benefits. You're going to have a tool that is going to teach you, assist you, empower you. That's what quartz does. That's what it does, but the important thing is to keep it within your aura, within your reach. If you put something across the room or downstairs or somewhere else, how is that helping you? Just like you would put aromatherapy in your space, as soon as you walk out of it, you want to keep it close to you. You want to work with it and revere these as sacred tools like the ancients did. You guys, this is my first video on this YouTube channel, Crystal's Avatar, and is always important for if you guys. I am asking you. This took a lot of work. If you could please just help me out here by liking my video. That's all, if you just like the video, but actually commenting helps as well. And so does especially subscribing. And understand that I am going to be teaching a lot about crystals in different ways than other people. I'm always going to be bringing out the mysterious, the magical, the paranormal. Okay, these other people can talk about crystals and about healing and just healing, but there's a lot more things you can do with crystals besides healing. And that's what my channel is about. So please like my video. Please subscribe to my channel, and please comment if you have anything to say or write some questions. Everything you see here, you're going to see for sale on my website. You can also just look online and search for your own crystal skulls. And if you ever have any questions about what you see here, please ask. Don't hesitate. I love you. I am so excited to work with crystals and be representing the knowledge behind crystals. And I'm truly grateful and humble. Thank you for watching. Until next time, thank you.